How you doing, YouTube? Mad Massive Beer Reviews, back with a little bit of bourbon barrel aged hopeful goodness in the form of Ghost Hawk Brewing. It is their mighty Ravendark. This is a bourbon barrel aged export stout. You don't see a lot of bourbon barrel aged export stouts. Yeah, foreign export stout, 9.4%. I think the only foreign export stout I've ever had that was barrel aged might have been from Demolin. But we'll see what's what. I'm kind of curious about this one. You know, because it's just a weird style to barrel age. But it's not when you think about a foreign export stout. I think of a foreign export stout. I think of, creamy, rich chocolates and darkness and dryness. It's this rich darkness and then this kind of dryness that you would get from just a regular foreign export stout. But the foreign one tends to be a little bit bigger, a little bit bolder. And when you marry that with a barrel, bourbon barrel, you could see that kind of sweetness balance off of that dryness, end up being something pretty cool. So I'm excited to dive into this. Label-wise, it's cool. It's kind of, medievally, if you will. And as far as that beer looks, I mean, she looks the part of a big, rich, bold stout, but still 9.4% is not a tiny stout. Definitely ABV worthy of barrel aging. But yeah, she looks pretty. Let's dive in. That smells awesome. That smells absolutely awesome. Rich chocolates, what I expect from an export stout. Multiple levels of dark, rich chocolates. Never getting really close to a milk chocolate thing on its own, but when you add that combination of a bourbon barrel, where you're adding that sweetness of the bourbon, that little bit of fruitiness, a little bit of cherry vibes, maybe even, and a gobs of vanilla, which you're getting in here, it actually bridges that gap, gets you a little bit closer to kind of a milk chocolate vibe. So it takes those base kind of chocolates you typically expect from a foreign export stout and brings them up, adds extra levels to them. There's a soft little roast in there, nothing too great, nothing too big, but enough to kind of balance off what is not an overly sweet beer, and I didn't expect it to be, because again, for an export stout, you're not expecting a huge sweet beer, but when you add that booze on top, you add that bourbon on top, and it brings that sweetness level up. It's nice to have that combination of the dryness, which is more going to be a mouthfeel thing, and then that little bit of bittering kind of from the roasted malts and whatnot that kind of add a little bit level of kind of balance to it. Yeah, it smells absolutely beautiful, actually. Let's dive in. Cheers. That's really, really good. That's really good. And it absolutely 1,000% is a foreign export stout. It's dry. It's fizzy. It's creamy. It's what you'd expect. I mean, for a lot of people that don't drink export stouts, just think Guinness, but a little bit more bold, a little bit bigger. That level. This is much more nuanced, has a lot more layers to it than Guinness, but that's your generic kind of vibe there. But when you add that dollop of the bourbon barrel on there, which isn't that big, I'm not getting this huge heat component, but I'm getting this little pop of sweetness. I'm getting this soft little fruitiness that almost comes off like a cherry jamminess. And then that vanilla from that barrel, which shows up really, really well and adds that bridging gap that I talked about earlier and kind of elevates that chocolate from just a dark baker's chocolate to a semi-sweet chocolate to giving a little bit of milk chocolate vibes. A nice bittering from the roast, a little bit of bittering from like a barrel char on it too. This is really good. This is really tasty stuff. And it's giving you all those kind of big beer vibes in a way more drinkable package because of the style of beer. And you're talking about a 9.4% barrel-aged stout that's showing the barrel, showing the beer. The barrel's not overpowering the beer. You kind of get a little bit afraid of that with such a low ABV stout. Excuse me, burps. It's that effervescent fluffiness of those export stouts get me a little gassy. And, yeah, I like this. I think it's fucking really tasty. And honestly, it's almost like a weird thing because, I get to the point where I'm like, okay, if you like what, will you like this? Or is it one of the better? I do those kind of things. Is this one of the better, barrel-aged stouts? I'm going to go that generic on it because it's really very unique. It's not unique in its flavor, but it's unique in its combination. Because like I said, I think the only other foreign export stout that I've ever had that was barrel-aged was a Demolin beer, and I think I really loved that one too. I probably reviewed it. You can probably go check it out. It might be that bottle back there, actually. But yeah, I like it. I dig it. I think it's fun. I think it's tasty, and I think it's a really well-done barreling on a style that not a lot of people do. So yeah, let's talk about it. Is this one of the better barrel-aged stouts that I've had as late? It's definitely worthy of conversation. It may not be Mount Rushmore status for me, but if in its uniqueness, it's definitely up there. I mean, like I said, don't get this many beers like this style. with barreling on it, so that in and of itself is cool. Let's see, Valiant availability, no idea. Christian, who gave it to me, works at Ghost Talk, but they didn't come from Ghost Talk. I want to make that kind of separation there. Let me know what's what, and leave you with, if you like what, will you like this beer? If you like nice, big, old barrel-aged beers. There you go. Another review in the books. I'm going to cut this one short. Got dinner cooking in the background. You can probably hear that. So, yeah. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Down there if you want to talk about massive beers, if you want to check me out doing the social media stuff, Beer Massive, if you want to check me out doing the whole podcasting thing. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully you're enjoying a little barrel-aged beer right now. Hope to see you next time. Cheers.